Now, Steph Curry is dealing with some rumors that he's in an open relationship with his wife, and this is going to pretty much bring the issue on the table. An open relationship, what is that? Is that saying he's open to do what he's supposed to, or he open to do what he want to do, like get another woman, because he's already open for that. Now, if he's saying that if the reality is that his wife is open to be with another man, see, then you dealing with some major situation and major problem, because that's a ultimate all outstanding no. But he's been open before he got this woman. He's been open to have as many wives as he want. He could have 1,000 wives like King Solomon if he want. And the Lord will bless him for setting the example. See, and when you have many wives, you don't have to have a license. You can set a will for those wives, and they will receive their wifely inheritance through the will, because this marriage license that just came into play during the early 1900s, because people started thinking about when their mate died, they wanted to have ownership of the property if they was living with their husband. Not only that, a lot of people would fill out a marriage license when they died, when the person died. They would live with the man his whole life, and then they would fill out a marriage license, and then so they could receive his property. So marriage license is very new, and even some states is not even required. They call it a I forgot the name of that marriage. It's called well, they were saying something 7 year, something about 7 year marriage. It'll pop up in my head, but when you married uh and you don't have the paperwork, it was called some kind of uh marriage. But the scriptures detail this stuff to the max. And these people that got money, they uh already got money, but see, they not understanding that you setting yourself up too, because you living in a structure that's not uh beneficial to your marriage arrangement or your family life, because this structure is gonna be uh pretty much harmful. And he's seeing that due to his father's relationship, and now he's going through the same, or not the same, but he's going through problems in his relationship, because he's following the model that these dragons, these oppressors, these deceivers and liars, these adversarial haters, jealous individuals, through their interpretations and philosophies of history, you see, because they never tell the true story in history. Nobody, the average person don't know that the Indians had many wives. Some Indians had up to 7 wives. See, the average person don't know these things because these dragons tell amazing lies. They're the greatest liars in the world. So for you to follow their motto, when the Arabs, they have multiple wives. Um, when the Africans have multiple wives and they live uh, in these situations and they don't have these type of problems where their women weren't running around jealous of each other, assaulting each other. They don't have problems in their community because they're not breaking up, but they're not dealing with this mindset of he's cheating and he's not being faithful to me, and the woman feeling some type of way because when you get multiple wives, this wife not gonna go be all on herself now. Now it humbles this lady to the point where she's trying to play her role to the best of her ability. She not sitting there thinking everything is about her. See, you got 2 other wives, so she trying to impress you on a whole nother level. But once these liars bring in they false interpretation and restrict people to one woman. See, once they change the laws that's been how you would say, change the law that's been dictating and um operating in the world, that every nation has been using these situations or disorder, it's been going fine. But when they introduced it, just like they introducing same sex marriage, is running rampant because this is their kingdom, and they the type of kingdom that rule over everything. So now you got the Asian peoples over there pushing same sex marriage. You got all these nations pushing the same sex marriage because these individuals. But a lot of these nations uh, wasn't dealing with these things on the level that they dealing with now that the so-called white man dealing with it or pushing it. And it's the same main thing here in America. We is a nation stuck inside of uh, this nation. We held captive and prisoners in this nation. No matter how much money you got, they got you in prison in your mind because you don't understand that you don't have to deal with just one woman. Better if you can afford it, like these rich basketball players, football players. They shouldn't have these type of problems where they worried about some woman uh wanting to deal with somebody else, or she want attention from these other men. See, because it's men and women, bro. It's men and women that will love to be his wife and a second wife and a third wife and a fourth wife and a fifth wife and a sixth wife. See, they would love to be that. And see, that's why the men did it, because they knew if they was on the bottom of the totem pole, these valuable, strong men, wealthy men would have 7 to 8 wives, maybe even 20 wives, and fat little Joe, uh, little Earl, nerdy Earl, he wouldn't get no woman because all the women would flock to the rich man, and he got a variety of women, so he's not, so picky like that because he's looking for a variety. Now, the little short man who ain't got no money and who ain't uh got no wealth, he's not gonna too much get these women on the especially the attractive women, that's not gonna happen. But see, now that you done got the women thinking like men, that they the same as men. You see, like a lioness thinking she's a lion. So the lioness, she not finna just join a pride. She not thinking about joining a pride that's following one lion, a strong lion. She not thinking like that. They got these women thinking like they the lion. They around here roaring on everything moving. Roar! Like a freaking lion, man. And they some lioness. Lioness don't sit around and do all that roaring and stuff. They gonna devour the prey, but they not gonna roar and try to get a bunch of males to follow them. Oh, you see, they're not gonna get a bunch of women or males to follow them. But this is the mindset that the so-called white men to be playing. Cause see, they have you talking to code. That's how demonic these peoples are. Uh, which that's really not. That's some crap that they made up too. See, that's just this how wicked these peoples are because they pretty much will muzzle the truth, and see the truth end up being insanity when it's just clear reality. But I just want to speak on that real quick. Let me get some verses real quick. Let's see. That's for people that might not know about his situation. Okay, Exodus 21 and 10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, her duty of marriage shall not be diminished. So this is clearly in the law of Moses that was given on Mount Sinai by the hand of God on the tablet of stone. See, this is not some man saying, "Oh, well, I believe, God he should be able to have another wife. He shouldn't have to stay with one woman and have all the children from one woman. You see, his seed shouldn't be just spread out with one woman. He should be able to spread his seed with multiple women. You see, this is not a man running his mouth. This is a man that received tablets that had instructions on it from the creator of heaven and earth. Okay, let's go to Deuteronomy. Because he didn't just write this thought in one place. This thought was in multiple places. He said, if a man have two wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated, and if the firstborn son be hers that was hated. I'm not going to finish all of that. It's pretty much saying if he got a wife that he like and a wife that he don't like as much, because he's still his wife, she didn't let her go, he's not going to favor, he's not going to give the inheritance to the wife that he like, because and if the child is not a firstborn, pretty much if it's the firstborn, give the inheritance to the firstborn, no matter how you feel about these wives, because it's all about the firstborn. Whoever was first to be born, that's who you give the firstborn inheritance to. Don't go to switching it up because you know what I'm saying. You like this one wife that you got, and so you say I'm gonna give her son the firstborn inheritance when he was the third born or the fourth born. And so in multiple places, the Most High is showing an example that in the law, that a man is not going off if he have more than one wife. And see, when they like to talk about the New Testament, because that's when so-called they try to act like uh Christianity began with the New Testament. That's when it came into play in the New Testament, and so it kind of so-called justifies what they saying because it's some kind of new situation that popped off, but it wasn't no new thing. It was the same operation. Now, let me get this King Solomon, and we're going to go into this New Testament, and I'm going to show how these people don't know what they're talking about. King Solomon, verse 1, it says, King Solomon loved many strange women. See, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, that's Egypt, women of Moabites, that's the Chinese, Ammonite, Japanese, Edomites, the so-called white man, Zidonians, that's some old African Hamites, and the Hittites. And I'm thinking they might be Hamites too, African. Now, so Solomon had many wives. Then look at verse 3. It said he had 700 wives. 700 is the number of 7 is the number of completion, first of all. So that might not even have been the specific number, but we know he had many wives. He had wives to you couldn't count no more. He was the richest man in the world. It said that in 300 concubines, his wife turned his heart away. And a lot of these people that think they talking about something and they know something try to use this and say, see, he didn't want him to have them wives. No, they turned his heart away because he was dealing with their gods, not because he had these wives. The wives wasn't the problem. It was because he was dealing with their gods. And so that was the problem. Now, let me go to the New Testament real quick. Let's get to the point and shut down these so-called people that think they know the Bible. What did this say right here? Now, Apostle Paul was the one that's supposed to bring it to the Gentiles, and he supposed to be pushing Christianity, so-called Christianity. Now, he supposed to be the main pusher of the Christianity. That these laws, you ain't got to deal with these laws. But look at what the apostles that was under so-called Christ, that was under the Messiah's uh, tutelage, or was following him and under his spirit and was dealing with Paul. Look at what they were trying to tell Paul. They was trying to get Paul to do a specific thing. It said, verse 21, and they are informed of you. See, he's saying the apostles are saying, let me make sure we getting this now. Let me make sure this is clear, because I don't want these people saying otherwise. So we in chapter 21. Okay. It say the apostles came to him now. Okay, then Paul answered, certain disciples, and when we were come to Jerusalem, the brethren received us gladly. And the day following, Paul went in with us unto James, and all the elders were present. Okay. All the elders of the so-called Christian in the Messiah, believing in the Messiah, they came unto James and Paul. And when he saluted them, he declared particularly what thing God had wrought among the Gentiles by his ministry. See? So now let's get straight to the point. 21, he said, and they are informed of you, that you teach all the Jews which are among the Gentiles. That's another thing. Paul was not teaching no Edomites, no Moabites, no any other nation but the nation of Israel. He was teaching those Israelites that was among the Gentiles. See, from them other tribes that wasn't in Jerusalem. He was teaching them that they was Israelites too, because the Greeks had told everybody that you can't even say that you're an Israelite, or we gonna put you to death. So Paul was teaching those people. He said, all teaching all the Jews which are among the Gentiles to forsake Moses. See, forsake the law. Because these dragons in Rome probably wasn't dealing with no multiple wives either. But they was dealing on same-sex marriage. But it says, saying that they ought not to circumcise their children, neither walk after the customs. What customs? Multiple wives. See, these Edomites got a history of being fornicators and liking each other. And doing same-sex marriage. See, they are natural. That's natural for them to do. They don't want to live by the laws of God and do things in the right order. Now, so they pretty much saying, Paul, we heard that you telling these these Israelites that you informing that they're Israelites. You letting them know that y'all are Israelites. Y'all not no Greeks. Y'all didn't come from where these people come from. It ain't about that y'all are Roman. That's not important. Just like we telling these people in America, it's not important that you're an American. It's important that who your bloodline go back to. Because every bloodline has an inheritance from God and from their forefathers. But anyhow, verse 24, it says, take them, and he told him to go get 4 men. He said, take these 4 men, purify thyself, and be at charge with them, that they may shave their heads. Let me highlight this. They may shave their heads, and all may know that those things whereof they were informed concerning you are nothing. Pretty much saying, they heard that you weren't keeping the law, so we want the people to know that all that was a lie. That was nothing that they was hearing. They heard a lie about you because you is keeping the law, but that you yourself are walking orderly and keeping the law. This Apostle Paul being told by the Christian, so-called Christian elders. So it never changed, man. These people want to push that because they following the so-called white man, and it's a must that they push that. That's why most of these pastors and preachers out here got a 501c3 from the government saying you can't go political and you can't say that we the devil, pretty much, because political is talking about people. It's dealing with the people, and the main way you deal with people is who is these people that we dealing with? See, when you go political, you deal with demographics. You got the Chinese are making most money, and the Nigerians is making the most money. So you talk about the nations, you talk about specific things, and they don't want you to do that. See, they want you to think in a so-called Christian mindset where uh, everybody is the same. And it ain't a Christian mindset, it's an Edomite mindset, because they've been doing this. Now let me get that evidence that this is what these people been doing. This ain't a new thought. This ain't a new situation. Okay, let's go on to the point. Verse 41, it said, moreover, King Antiochus. Now, King Antiochus was an Edomite, a so-called white man. You can pull him up on the internet. You can see his statue and his picture. It's clear. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all shall be one people. Verse 42, and everyone should leave his laws. See, same sex man. I mean, multiple wives. You leave your law, but you gonna live like us and have same sex marriage, like us Greeks and Romans walking around naked. So all the heathen agreed to the commandment of the king. See, these other nations, they follow these Edomites. Whatever the Edomites do, the other nations, they jump out there. Verse 43. Yeah, and many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed the idols and profaned the Sabbath. See, even our peoples is consenting to these dragons, to leaving God's law and his order. Now, it's not no uh simple thing with these things. That's why Paul had to go and tell these people that y'all are Israelites and y'all got to do the laws. You got to keep the customs because y'all are Israelites. Now I say verse 50, whosoever will not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. See, these Edomites will put you to death if you ain't trying to follow their ways. See, they'll muzzle your mouth where you can't spread the truth to nobody. They'll censor you, and then they'll put you to death. That's what it's getting to now. It's getting to now that they call you a terrorist. See, they'll frame you. They'll accuse you of some crime that you did. That's what Revelation 12 is talking about. The accuser of the brethren. Why is he an accuser? Because he want to muzzle you. He want to shut you up. So he'll frame you and accuse you of a crime. Well, verse 10, it said, I'm going to get straight to the point. For the accuser of our brother, this is verse 10 of Revelation 12. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before God day and night. See, he accused the people that got the truth and that's pushing God's law, that's pushing what God want us to do. He going to accuse them and turn them into terrorists. And see, they even tried in the Greek captivity, and these dragons hung the women that tried to keep the law. The women was trying to keep the law and circumcise their children, and they went and hung up the children, murdered the children, and murdered the women. That's how these Edomites roll, man. It's in their bloodline. Let's get this, because see, people think folks don't inherit their heritage, and this what these people do. And see, when these women are all on this, I don't care, it's nasty. He's having multiple women, sleeping with multiple women. That's nasty. See, that's when you dealing with a person that's got Stockholm syndrome and they love their slave master and everything he taught them and anything he say is correct, no matter if God step in and say, you know, he taught you something wrong, dog, little girl. No, I just that's just nasty. He can have many women, sleeping with multiple women. That's just nasty. See, that's what a Negro will say. Now, this was um, where was I going? Where was I going? Um, I was finna wrap it up with that last verse, and I lost my train of thought. The accuser of the brethren. Um, mm, that verse just left my mind. Mm. Well, anyway, um, these dragons, they pretty much change the laws, and they willing to go all out to make people follow it, and they gonna hide the truth from the people. But we gonna keep bringing it out. Um, we gonna keep bringing it out and showing how this is this situation with these wives. Let me go get me one more verse with the wives. 'Cause under the law, it was a common thing for these men to have multiple wives. I don't know how the game got twisted and people start following these dang on Edomites. Look at this man, Abijah. They say Abijah waxed mighty and married 14 wives and begat 22 sons and 16 daughters. Do you understand the magnitude of that situation? Beget 22 sons. Now, Curry's father had 20. He had 2 sons. So you talking about 20 more sons? Do you not know the wealth that would have been utilized? Because all of them sons ain't gonna just be idiots and squander the money. Because that's what the prodigal son and what the nation of Israel pretty much did. They squandered their inheritance, and we doing it today. But when you look at the so-called Jewish bankers that's controlling the world right now, see, he had about 5 sons and 5 brothers. He got 10 men that he could spread this money with, and they could make moves, and he could trust them to do certain things so they could make power moves. But see, this is not what these people understand. They don't understand the multiple wives. They thinking about sex all the time. It's not about sex. It's bigger than sex. See, when you become a grown, mature person, you understand these things. See, that's why they got these grown behind people, and they're still in the adolescent mind. You still thinking like an adolescent. Sex is not that serious. See, and the women folk want to focus on sex. Sex, sex, sex. Me. Sex, 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 sex. Love, 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 love. I want to have this feel. They want to be stuck in the feeling, thinking about sex and thinking about themselves. That's what the mindset that these dragons them orchestrated and engineered them to be thinking on. But life is bigger than that. When Jacob women started to go barren and they wasn't having children by Jacob, the women say, well, my role is to have these children. My role is because he can't have no children. So my role is to multiply his seed, and it's not happening. But I got a slave girl. Slave girl, come on and be his second wife or his third wife, so he can multiply his seed. That's how you get the 12 tribes, 12 sons. See, he would have never got to the 12 sons if these women went barren. He said, well, these my 2 wives, 2 sisters. I married them, so I guess we ain't gonna have no more children. No, you see, that's what the problem is with these people with their little money and their little dollar with their little face on it, and it misconstrued what's going on, what's the values of life, because people putting their value on money, and they doing what they got to do to get money. See, money it ain't got that type of value. That's a low level thinking. You thinking about how much a dollar worth. It ain't about the dollar. The money is just a tool. You should be thinking about what you're trying to build. You don't think about, I need to get a bunch of tools. I need to get a toolbox. But you ain't thinking about getting no bricks. You ain't thinking about buying no land. You ain't thinking about buying no materials to build with. You just thinking about the freaking tool all the time. Mine stuck on the tools, acquiring the tools, but you ain't thinking about the blueprint of what kind of building and what kind of house you want to build. They trying to get the tools first when it's a bigger picture, pretty much. But I'm gonna leave it there because this is a major subject, and these dragons is being exposed because when you go to the Native Americans, they had multiple wives because they knew they was Israelites. The, the tribes knew that they came from Issachar. Many Edomites done wrote books showing that they knew that they came from Issachar. A lot of these other tribes knew that they came from Asher, Naphtali. They came from specific tribes that came over here. Gad, Reuben, Simeon. They knew these things, man. And they was following the laws a little bit because it was just natural for them to do so because it was their culture. They was already living by these laws. They wasn't like the heathen and the so-called white men, the Edomites, living in caves and eating rats and dogs and stuff and have no structure. They had structure in their life. They was wearing fringes on their garments, on their Indian garments, and they was living by the laws of Moses. Point blank and simple. But the white man came on the scene and see the Indian situation and make it obvious that as soon as these dragons come on the scene, everybody forget their laws and they go living like them, being homos and stuff. See, but I'm gonna leave it there, man. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem and Kakadash, double honor to the elders pushing the truth, peace to the elect worldwide, the blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, descendants of slaves scattered around the globe. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.